Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. I got back from the Liquid Racing World First about 6 hours ago, and I was surprised. Not really at all. There are a handful of buffs, I guess hot fixes, class and dungeon buffs. Now it's for Tuesday, I guess today at this point, later you're seeing this video, and two Warlock specs are being buffed. So today in this video, I want to talk to you about the buffs to Destro and Affliction, where it puts the specs, single target-wise, AoE-wise, what it might mean for the specs heading into, I guess, week 3 of Emerger Cell and S3 Mythic Plus. And then go from there. Like always, week course add-ons down below. Links to Twitch and Discord if you want them. They're all for free for you guys. And yeah, I apologize for not being around as much over the past couple weeks. I was at BlizzCon in the early November. Came home, got COVID for a few days. Got over that. When I was clear to go, I flew out to the Race World first and just got back. My voice is still gone. It's getting better, so I'm glad to be back and hopefully returning to stream and YouTube things regularly because we have a lot of things to talk about. With the state of Warlock. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, so getting into it, there are two hot fixes tonight. They're going in. Well, I guess they're already in. This has been a funny thing that's been happening for a few weeks. Soul Strike is known by our Felguard, not the player itself. It's been spamming, hey, I learned a new ability, Soul Strike, whenever I demounted or anything happened in game whatsoever. He now knows that. We'll repeat it over and over. Very cool. Felguard should also now prioritize using Soul Strike once it's off cooldown. At times, it's been a little finicky. Casting it on bosses when you're opening up, and sometimes it just sits on cooldown without being cast. So hopefully that's a good change. I believe it was fixed yesterday, but I've been traveling a lot and haven't really had a chance to look at it, but I should make that a little more consistent. So the class tuning that is coming, there's a handful of changes like DK, Priest, Druid, and then Warlock, and there's not a very, not a very like what I'm looking for. It's a flat aura buff to Warlock. So Affliction is getting a 6% buff to you and your pet's abilities, and the same for Destruction. It is not applied in PvP combat. Now, when this came out a few hours ago, a lot of people were pretty frustrated about there not being more tuning. Tuning being buffs to some classes, like Mage, other range classes, things in general that can use it, and nerfs to classes that are very, very strong and need nerfs, like Rogue and Demon Hunter, and maybe other classes that are pretty decent. But a few hours later, Blizzard responded again by saying, hey, there's also more class tuning coming, I think December 5th or whatever. So not tomorrow or today, not this Tuesday for this week, but the week after. Likely there will be some buffs and nerfs. They use the word nerf in here somewhere. I don't want to read it. You can, I saw it somewhere. But either way, yeah, some buffs and some nerfs. So take a while, I guess. Might get nerfed. Hopefully it's more buffs. I wouldn't actually mind some buffs to just baseline Tyrant for Demonology, but the big thing is like they typically don't do like niche like talent tuning in the middle of patches. It's usually just like aura buffs like we see right here. So we'll see what next Tuesday holds. But for now, Destro and Aff are getting some pretty big buffs. So I mean, and I think it's warranted for the most part. Looking at this is heroic sorting for Emerger Cell. We can go to heroic or mythic, but I mean. Augmentation Evoker hooks are broken in Warcraft logs. I believe they're broken for a bunch of classes again. I don't know at this point. I'm just along for the ride like you guys are until it's reworked to a DPS spec. But Affliction and Destro have been pretty bad for the entire tier. I think a bit of that is because Demo is just the best spec for Warlock overall. It was buffed a week before the patch went live to make it even stronger heading into the tier. And its damage profile is strong on certain fights this tier, like Gnaw Root, like Tindral, for example, right? But overall, it's a pretty heavy melee tier. If you sort with Mythic here, and even looking at Racer World, World First kills and everything, 2 to 3 Rogues, 2 to 3 BM Hunters, a couple of Havoc Demon Hunters, typically a couple of Augs buffing the melee Meat Grinder, a couple of Enhanced Shamans to buff the melee Meat Grinder even more, and there is a Demo Lock sprinkled in here. I consider Hunter half range, half melee, however you want to look at it, but there's a range sprinkled in here, being Demo Lock, which I think a good bit of that is likely due to the fact that you need a Warlock on most fights for Gateway and Health Stones and Soul Stones and all that kind of stuff. We talked about it before. That Warlock utility really drops off after the first Warlock, unless you need 2 for 2 Gateways, which you rarely ever need anymore in this day and age of Warcraft, right? And you can see at the bottom here again, Destruction and Affliction doing terribly, Aug being broken in logs again, but Aff and Destro this tier, if you even look at overall rankings and such, you can't even see them for Warlock. Maybe on a fight here and there. I haven't even filtered by or even looked at this, but I mean, it's a World of Demonology. Just Demo. You're looking at Demo basically everywhere. Okay, Destro on Council of Dreams, I will say is not bad, but on a triple perma 3-target cleave fight, there's some Demo locks here, albeit relatively geared but also some gear Destro locks getting 3 PIs and still losing to the Demo locks. Laridar Demo, Naimu Demo, Smolderon Demo, and these are all mythic. Whenever they open up heroic or whenever they kill mythic bosses and things, it will also be basically all Demo. Now, on PTR testing, and we'll get into the numbers here in Sims in a minute as well, just to clarify. AF didn't feel terrible on some fights. Like, when it came to Council of Dreams, I wouldn't mind playing a build with, like, Absolute Corruption in this fight, possibly. Like, some Vile Taint PS, just cleave, and just, like, you know, just big Hauntal damage. I might even play it this week in Reclear for Mythic, right? But the problem was, Demonology was just a little bit better when it came to fights like Laridar, like Naimu, for example, right? And the tier bonus was buffed before the patch went live, making it even better. Now, Demo's not OP by any means. It's probably the best range spec out there, barring BM Hunter being that weird, like, pseudo-hybrid range, melee, whatever you want to call it. You can cast every ability on the move for free. But Demo is likely up there, right? But I think AF is not necessarily that far behind on fights like Naimu, or even like Smolderon with those damage profiles for every single World in Flames phase, right? When it comes to Tindral and like Fyrock, I mean, there's a lot of, like, you know, mass cleave here on Roots. Yeah, Demo's probably better. Fyrock, I could even see AF being played here. Maybe even later on in Mythic, depending where tuning lands, if it gets a few more buffs here and there. Similar to Razageth and Sarkareth, I don't think the damage profile is even that bad for this fight. I really don't. Same for Smolderon, same for Naimu. You can soul swap from the boss onto the ads. Laridar, not even terrible either. Volcaros. I think Affliction has a pretty good damage profile. It can be tailored to be single target, AoE based, Wrath of Consumption based. The problem is it's undertuned, like we said it would be, you know, if the patch went live the way that it did, and, you know, this is where we live in. So I have Sims here. Now, I have not run updated Sims with, you know, aura buffs being applied. It's 2 in the morning. I'm really tired from my flight, and I don't want to mess it up and all that, but it's pretty easy. Now, there could be a little bit of variance here, give or take, but just doing basic calculator Florida math, but we're going to do that here. And if we're a little off, then, you know, so be it. It's still a good overall, I guess, indicator of where things are at. So these Sims here are for Demo, then Destro, and then AF in some order past Demonology here. These are the BIS profiles, or at least were the BIS profiles a few weeks ago. Might have changed a little bit for Demonology, Destro, and AF. Either way, it's good enough. We're going to roll with it because it's 2 in the morning and I haven't slept in 2 days. I am very, very tired. So Demo is sitting at about 243k, roughly. This, to clarify, is indeed playing that, you know, weird 2-minute Tyrant build, which we all hate, but at the same time, it is still the best build out there. Just to clarify as well, there'll be more videos coming out over the next few days talking about this build, State of Warlock, all this stuff. I'm back home now, just trying to get the ball rolling, right? This is indeed playing the Naked Tyrant build, Soul Strike, Sack Soul, all this stuff here in single target, sitting at about 243k, 244, give or take, whatever you want to call it. Demonology is not being buffed tomorrow. Destruction and Affliction are both by 6%. So next we have Destruction here, sitting at roughly 224k. So we, 224, we'll call it 225 just for simplicity's sake. No big deal. We'll go like pre-buff. I'm going to be real sneaky here and just do this because I don't really want to run Sims. I'm tired and all that stuff. A 6% aura buff, taking this profile, barring some weird scaling coming into play. It's to all abilities, to all pet damage. It's roughly 13,500 DPS. So if you take that number plus 225, you're looking at about 238. So the buff gives roughly, give or take, on a max level character and all that, 13,500. So Destro post buff, not pissed buff, it's post buff, just that. About 238,500, give or take. Still a bit lower than Demonology by about 5-ish K, but not terrible. Destro's damage profile, pretty decent. Not amazing, not horrendous, but it's not bad, right? So we're within range. Now, there's no problem with Destro having that weird, baseline 2-minute Infernal and mass AoE, can't get it past 2 minutes. Dimensional Rift is still unfortunately an issue as well by being, a capstone talent that we can't really access here. Unless we end up dropping, other talents that we want in AoE. It is too far in the tree here. But I mean, either way, if you want Destro's like damage profile for Havoc Cleave, whatever, Council of Dreams, other fights where you might want it, give or take, it's not a bad option. It's even better. Now, is it better than Demonology? No, but it is a start. When it comes to AoE, like I said, I mean, having just Grand Warlock's design being baseline 2-minute Infernal and not like that minute Infernal we had in mass AoE before with that huge CDR, Destra's a mess in Mythic Plus. I think personally, I don't think it's really changed much at all. But on the contrary, Affliction Mythic Plus, I think it's flying under the radar. So quickly, I want to hop into game, look at one thing, and then come back to this and run the math. So like I said, Affliction's pretty customizable when it comes to, honestly, an array of scenarios, right? You can play a pure single target build that plays something like this, just playing Dread Touch, a Soul Rot, 2 points, and Gluttony with your new tier bonus, or you can play, a full AoE build in Plus with Seed, Sow, Doom Blossom, even a hybrid build in single target, pulling points out of Virtuosity and grabbing Seed, and like Wrath. F has a lot of customization, which is very, very good for the spec, because it fits, a plethora of fights and scenarios, right? Now, one big thing that's been plaguing Affliction for basically the entire patch, and PTR, is the fact that his tier bonus has been bugged. It buffs Rapture, the 4-piece, whenever you cast Soul Rot, but it would only buff 1 of 3 Seed of Corruptions. Now, I'll show it here. So, basically casting a Seed, I guess, we'll throw a Seed out here. Pull this out here. So, casting a Seed without actually buffing it with Soul Rot does about this much damage, right? So, we're going to launch a Seed here. A lot of 19k, about 18 to 19k per Seed, right? You can see they're all pretty consistent here. Everyone hits the same. These crits, they're doing double damage here, but all of them are about 18 to 19k, give or take. A very little margin of disparity, depending on mastery, all that, no big deal. Right now, the cool thing is, I'm going to cast Soul Rot here and cast it again. Previously, you'd only see 4 targets having a damage amp on them here due to your tier bonus because it was bugged, affecting 1 Seed. The cool thing is, the tier bonus was fixed, I think about a week ago. But I was at the race and didn't really report on it because, well, I really couldn't. So check this out. We're going to cast Soul Rot. I'm going to wait for it to fall just to have like less, I guess, clutter in the combat log here. But I have the buff rolling still, right? Here's the buff. It buffs Rapture and Seed. We're going to cast our Seed here and watch how hard they all hit. So we're going to cast Seed. Pop the Seed. And, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. There's the Seed pop right here. 30k, 60k, every single one is hitting for the exact same amount, which does indeed have the damage amp from the tier bonus. It is now buffing all 3 Seeds. Good to see. So this makes this bug fix already pretty strong when it comes to Mythic Plus and AoE. This is not even having, UA up or Doom Blossom. Wasn't even really playing it much here, but either way, we're playing this build. This makes very strong, Mythic Plus and AoE. Keep in mind, at the same time, these buffs are not just straight up buffs to, to single target damage. It is a buff to everything. Buffing Seed, buffing Sow, all of it. So looking at AF here, we're sitting about 222, 370. Once again, brief Florida math, we're going to do this. 222, 370 times 0.06. So it's about a 13,342 buff, roughly. I'm not doing exact sims here. Once again, it's late. I don't want to deal with it. This is in single target, though, right? So if I take this, calculate the buff, and add in what it's sitting at again, we are looking at around 235,712. Once again, not as high as Demonology, not even as high as Destro, but to be fair, Destro's been the highest simming spec, well, the higher simming spec compared to AF for a long time, but varying damage profiles. AF, customizable, can be good in single target, good in like a hectic ag cleave, good in mass ag cleave, good in like periodic ag cleave. It's very, very customizable. We played it on fights like Naimu, like Laradar, even like Tindral for shield breaking early on PTR testing, and it wasn't that bad. And having a damage profile that you can get, a big buff to your Raptures or Seed every half a minute by casting Soul Rot is actually pretty big. So the buff in single target does bring it up a bit. Not as good as Demonology in single target, still trailing by, 7k. But once again, if a fight wants a faster damage profile, being a half minute, like Smolderon, having Soul Rot with Raptures for every single world in Flames, right? And doing more damage now. To a similar extent, there's single target bosses or Naimu, being able to swap the boss back to an ad, soul swap it back and forth. It could be really, really strong. And this buff, Mythic Plus, on top of the tier bonus being fixed, the Soul Rot cast, I think actually could really, really make Affliction a big contender in M+. Demonology is already good in Plus. It's already very close to being meta. If Rogue and Demo Hunter and Enhanced weren't like as strong as they are, and it was more of a range meta, you'd likely see Demo Lock in the meta groups, if not very close to it. It's good. It's good in single target. It's good in AoE. Demo's profile feeds like that mass stat cleave AoE profile. But AF also has that half-minute profile with Soul Rot cast, which gives you Rapture damage increase or a Seed damage increase, whether you want single target or AoE. You can literally choose where you want the damage. I mean, well, it happens every half a minute though. It's so right. You have it so often. It's just a very strong profile, a strong tier set in a sense, based on whatever setting you're in. This 6% buff to AF with the tier bug fix, with the buff, playing Seed, with Sow, with Doom Blossom and all that. And also if you're playing a point down here in Dark Harvest, also looks pretty good. Some builds opt to play this. Affliction's probably going to be a powerhouse. Could be a powerhouse and plus when it comes to AoE. And honestly, not that bad either in single target. The buffs will be live later on today, or maybe today, depending when this is. I'll likely play it a little bit in plus on stream and see where it goes. If I stream today, because I just got home. I'm very tired. Hopefully I don't get sick. If I don't get sick, I'll try and stream for a little while. We are raiding tomorrow night. If I stream, I'll test it out. If not, we'll try it soon. But yeah, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I am curious to see where it all goes. And the week after, there could be more tuning coming as well. Glass half full. I guess, okay. Glass half full, Demo and Destro and Af aren't getting nerfed, and Demo likely isn't either. So thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up. Hopefully, if you had any questions about the changes, or I guess the buffs, Destro, Af, this evening, it helped answer them for you guys. Like I said, I just got back home from the race world first. My voice is still sort of gone. I'm trying to take it a little easy. I'm just really tired. I don't think I'm getting sick again, or getting sick. Well, I mean, I never really got over like my cold or whatever. But either way, hopefully, I'm just a little run down. Gonna get some sleep tonight, and hopefully try and be back tomorrow, if not the day after. But I want the test with these changes. I'm pumped to play AF and Plus. Destra, I mean, they also need overhauls, but I mean, you know, a buff's a buff. Didn't really address the issues with Dimensional Rift or, you know, the talent tree problems that we have. But hey, it's something, and in the end, if it's good, you'll end up playing it. So we will see where it goes. Like always, week wars add-ons, link to Twitch and Discord down below if you want them, all for free for you guys. At the same time, before we end the video, I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons for all support on Patreon. Like always, thank you a million times, guys. I really appreciate it. If you look at supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here, as well as down below in the video description. And like I said, I greatly appreciate all support, guys. Thank you so much. Now, I don't know if I expect, but I would hope there's maybe some changes coming in the December 5th week as well, if they're looking at doing a bit more like targeted tuning. I don't think they're going to hit Demonology with a nerf at all. I wouldn't mind some buffs to like, or some changes to Demonology, like whitelist, blacklist of Tyrant pets, because honestly, like, I am playing the 2-minute build of Demonology with, you know, just baseline naked Tyrant. I don't really enjoy it. I like Brand Warlock's design more. The 1-minute build feels a lot better. But in the end, the 2-minute build's better. It just sims higher, and I have played Demo for a long time. This is the worst ever felt. Some good changes were made at the same time, but when all your cooldowns just feel incredibly unimpactful, Tyrant, Dark Lair, Infernal, the spec needs help. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes. All that being said, thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, hit the like and sub buttons below. It helps out a ton, and I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.